So I think the group is a fascinating group, and it's fascinating for the diversity that we've managed to put together. We have diverse geographies. We have South Africa, Southeast Asia, you have Hong Kong with a more developed and sophisticated approach, but you also have in Indonesia, Malaysia. It's really amazing. And then you have Australia. Maybe we're on the light side, on the American side, I guess. On the Americas we're missing, and then we have Europeans. So the geographical diversity is something that it's a very big value. The other big value of the group is also the diversity in the backgrounds and the type of industries that we have. So we have Middle Eastern players in the chemical and oil and gas sector. We have utilities. We have chemicals in South Africa. So in that sense, cable companies, distribution companies that are installing smart meters. So in that sense, you really have a richness of knowledge, of an experience that it's invaluable. And I've been, I think, moderating, facilitating sessions in a wide range of settings across the world, and it's the first time that I find this type of diversity. Maybe it's comparable to some of my experiences with World Economic Forum, where also they managed to get a very diverse crowd, very motivated and very focused. Now, the diversity, as it often happens, is a strength, but it's also a challenge. And I think one of the big eye-openers was also the presentation of the external speaker, Benoit Lebeau, who basically made people realize the magnitude of the change that could happen. When he says, when the world was colder by 4 degrees, there was no water in the UK Channel, people opened their eye. And so then he's like, well, what do you think is going to happen when the world is going to be warmer by another 4 degrees? So the magnitude of physical change has shocked people and moved them into thinking. And on the other hand, Peter Cameron, which was the other external speaker and comes from an industry experience, has also presented some of the issues of how industry got it majorly wrong in the past. Forecasts were very different from the actual what happened, and so companies were just doing the wrong thing and not realizing, and suddenly they were disappearing very quickly. So disruption is also something that's quite challenging for people, especially those who are in planning, and as people in planning like to do trajectories, and the new world instead is about disruption, and so they have to change completely and go into a more resiliency strategy. So far, I think it's been a very good discussion, and we'll see how it then boils down to actually making the specific perspectives. And so that also, the means to actually pursue that final objective is something that we're going to be delivering in our perspectives. And I think the second, the other part will be more on how is the industry reacting to all of this? How are the business models being disrupted? Now, of course, around the table, as you know, we have large, big industrial players. And so the idea that they are going to be majorly threatened and breaking apart is something that it's hard to even conceive. But then again, we heard yesterday Barbara saying how Philip is actually breaking out into subsidiaries, the lighting and the healthcare. So in that sense, especially in some parts of the world, you still have that sense of big companies are going to stay and they're not going to be undermined by the energy transformation.